Hi, this is Charlie giving you Wednesday's update, and I hope you're very well. The title of this update is Should You Trade the Cryptocurrencies? Should you trade Bitcoin and the likes? Um, I've just got a monthly chart of the euro dollar up there, but let me just explain a little bit to you as regards to trading something like Bitcoin. Because it's one thing if you want to speculate, if you want to open a wallet, go into somewhere like Coinbase or one of the crypto providers that you can actually open accounts with and then buy the likes of Bitcoin or other altcoins or whatever it might be. But there's another thing is actually trading it via your broker. What people have to understand is the cryptocurrency market is still obviously in its infancy in real terms, which means the volume traded is still very light. It's a very thin market. It's a very thin market for trading. My concern is there's a lot of people out there now starting to or attempting to trade it via various brokers, and what happens is um, they can get away with it, so to speak, for a certain amount of time. So you'll be trading along, making money, and yes, it's got all these massive, huge intraday moves. So you can have these huge moves in percentage gain terms, and people make money. And then what happens is it's on those times when the markets do that because they're illiquid. So, for example, some of the cryptocurrencies dropped. What was it? Ripple last week, last Monday, a week ago Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday, by the way. I'm recording this a few days early. But dropped what 30% in a day, and then recovered, and so when you've got such a thin market and you're trading it, well, you might be trading with your normal sort of stop loss, but the problem is that you could have a stop loss here, you got in here, and you're respecting your risk management, but the market doesn't feel you there. It feels you down here somewhere. And this is a catastrophe that's going to come to a lot of traders out there at some point because it is such a thin market. And when that sort of move happens, a load of people will get caught because it always happens. Greed takes over in the meantime. People want to trade these markets, but all of a sudden, not only might have put £5,000 in a trading account to trade something like this, and then you end up owing the broker maybe potentially more than you actually invested, because if it comes down a lot, not only do you lose your account, but you actually owe them, because that could happen. That's exactly what happened after the SMB crisis a few years ago, and it could happen if there was big gaps, or at least you could see not just risking 1 or 2% of your account, you could all of a sudden end up losing 10, 20, 30, 50% of your account if one of those big moves happens. So just be very, very careful. There's more than enough money to be made in not having to chase the most volatile markets. I've been around now for 20 years. I've seen the same investor and trader behavior over and over again. And what happens is many years ago it was like gold, and everyone wanted to trade gold because it was very volatile. And then people get their hat handed to them because of that. And so there's nothing wrong with making 50% a year, or maybe even 100% in a year, by just trading nice liquid markets. You can do that without having to trade cryptos. So don't get me wrong, at some point in the future, trading cryptos may be fine, but there's not enough volume there at the moment. The market's thin, and my concern is that people will get caught at some point on their stop losses, won't get stopped out for 1 or 2%. You'll be getting stopped out for a lot more than that. And so just be very, very careful if you want to trade it. Use speculative funds. Don't go and put large amounts in, because the risk is that you could just end up potentially even blowing up. So that's my concern. If you want to invest in it, that's different. Investing in cryptocurrencies, again, it's speculative, but you can't lose more than obviously what you put in if you're investing. But with trading, it's a different thing, and obviously you get stopped out and you just lose. If you're invested in it and you bought something, let's say Bitcoin at $13,000, and it goes back down to $3,000, you still own Bitcoin. and maybe it will come back for you at some point in the future. If you're trading it, you get stopped out or get caught, then you lose a lot more. So just be very, very careful. I have no interest in trading those markets yet. They're too illiquid, and but at some point in the future, and when I say the future, maybe in a year's time, whatever it might be, when there's enough volume, then maybe I would trade them. But at the moment, it's too dangerous. I don't want to be that person. Just like in the Swiss National Bank, when they unpegged themselves to the euro, the people who were saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. There's a floor on the Swiss against the euro. It's always sitting at 120." And what happened? They removed the floor. And these things happen throughout history. Doesn't matter what the asset class is. At some point, there'll be an event. It could be that all of a sudden a government comes in and says, right, we're going to take over and we're going to regulate this now, or we're not going to accept payments, or whatever it might be. Who knows what those things might be, but there'll be a shock event, like in any market there can be, but a shock event in a thin market, and you're trading it, you'll get your hands, no you won't, you'll get your head handed to you. Anyway, a little bit of a negative today, but I'm just very passionate about this. I've been around for long enough to know when I see this sort of behavior going on, and that maybe you're best off trading other markets. If you want to speculate in the cryptos, by all means speculate in the cryptos, but do it unleveraged. Don't trade with leverage on a broker with cryptos, because that's when it could get very, very dangerous in what is a thin market. Anyway, that's it from me today. Back on Friday, and then next week away skiing. I know it seems like it's only just got back from Christmas, but that's the ski season for you, isn't it? So away skiing for a week. So be back in a couple of weeks after Friday, that is.